All right. So one of the things that often happens to our company, Zendev, which is an IT consulting company, is that people come to us with ideas. And people usually have an idea of how they want to implement these ideas. And they've heard a little bit about the process. So what usually ends up happening is they come to us and they say, I want to build an MVP, which is just short for minimum viable product. And this is a term that comes from the Lean Startup book by Eric Ries, where he talks about building the minimal amount of features that you need to build, but still having something viable for the users as far as user experience. Now, in this process, to get to an MVP is a bit more complex than a lot of our clients realize. People think that the flow is usually such that they come to us and they say, I'll build this MVP. We spend the money and we build it, and then they think that the next step from that is that they're going to be able to raise money based off of that MVP, or even sell that MVP to an extent that it's going to finance the further development of the application. Now, the problem is that that is very, very rarely the case, and people that have been entrepreneurs in the IT space themselves know that it's very rare that you build a first version of something and people are happy with it. That's what they want to use. So for that reason, another approach that we have in Zendev is that we say, okay, you show to us what is the hypotheses that you're trying to prove or disprove with this first version. And then we'll question you if that is actually the minimum thing that you need to build, because the moral of the story is that more often than not, you can build something smaller to test the hypotheses than what your initial idea of the MVP was. Because usually people say this is my MVP, but it's actually almost a finished product. So say, for example, that you come to us with a budget of $50,000. The last thing that we would want to do is to blow through that entire budget and figure out that what we built right now is not what you actually need. Because then we're kind of at square zero and there's no more room for pivots. And you've heard about pivoting, also comes from that famous book, The Lean Startup, that once you realize that something that isn't working, you need to try something different. So if we can break that cycle of building, measuring, and learning into smaller pieces so that we can go through that cycle, for example, 5 to 10 times in that budget of $50,000 rather than one big iteration, then we have a better chance of actually creating the product that your customers really want and ultimately creating a successful company. So then the question is, all right, well, if we go through this cycle, which is the build, measure, learn cycle, how long do we work in this manner? And the easy answer here is that you never stop working in this manner. When you stop working in this manner, it's because you shut down the company and the product, basically. So you should always be iterating, even when you have what you call product market fit, something that people want to buy, you still want to improve on that. Maybe you can create a better landing page, which increases your conversion rate. You can A/B test different features, which increases your retention rate, the amount of time that people continue paying for, right? Just because somebody has come at one point and started buying it, doesn't mean that they're going to be buying it forever. But the more you improve on that, the larger your lifetime value for each and every customer can be, because you're building the actual features that they want and not making too huge assumptions to yourself of what your customers want.